Today is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter if you celebrate. That being said, there are 4 properties that hit the market today. 4 properties. Haven't taken a look at them yet. Just know that there's 4 out there. Let's take a quick look at the market. Let's get started with the market today, and then we'll jump into the interest rate, which we use the 30-year average for that. Or sorry, not the 30-year average. The 1 week average, the last week's average for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Okay, so for the last week, right there, you guys could see it. 1,700 homes hit the market as of like today, going back 7 days. And in the same time period, another 1,700 basically have seen a price decrease. Now, these are not the same homes. These are separate homes. So we're just looking at those stats. How many are hitting the market? And then how many are also having price decreases? And these numbers, I always love to look at these numbers, because this number, right, compared to this one or this one, really give you a feel of like the market, like as it currently stands, like what's actually happening in the mind of the sellers. And you could see here, for every single basically property that's coming online, there's another seller calling their agent and saying like, let's lower the price. So with that being said, it's a time to negotiate, right? Because almost the chances of these 1,700 properties seeing a price decrease at some point in their life is going to be pretty high, right? So again, great time to be on the market as a buyer right now. Interest rates are not the best, guys, but again, use that to your advantage. Use that to your advantage, please, to decrease the purchase price, because if there's a seller out there and he's motivated, he has to sell because whatever reason, he has to move somewhere, he needs a medical treatment, he has to pay the tax man, whatever those reasons are, right? You could use this thing of like, hey, the interest rates are, listen, Bob, the interest rates are really high. I would give you the price. As a matter of fact, I would have given you the price, but the interest rates don't make this property cash flow anymore. It doesn't even pay for the mortgage. I love to use that line. So with that being said, let's look at the 4 properties. But before we do that, just want to show you guys what the interest rates are. I like to show you guys this. All right, percent. Oh, whoops, I jumped way too much into that. Now we're going to close this. Just want to show you guys. Here we go. My bad. We're going to put 8. All right, cool. So now you guys can see what the interest rates are, right? We're looking at the 30-year, right, fixed rate mortgage average in the United States. Okay. Over the last, right, we're going to look since like basically end of last year, we had this basically going down. It was looking really nice, right? February 26th, that week preceding it, interest rates fell below 6%. And since then, we've seen just an increase. And that's related to the war in Iran, guys. I could almost guarantee it's 100% because of that, right? There's just uncertainty in the market. Uncertainty in the market leads to this kind of crap happening. So with that being said, guys, let's look at the actual deals that hit the market today. And we are going to go right here. We're going to scroll down. I'm going to look at my new multifamilies in the last 24 hours, okay? Click on that. And we're going to see what has come onto the market today. All right, I like to sort by price per square foot. It's not that bad. This $500 one's probably not going to work, but let's give it a shot. You never know. They want $949,000 for this triplex in Broward County that's currently paying $14,815 a year in taxes. The interest rate we saw at 6.46%, right? 4.646. Let's see. 646. Okay, right. Square foot wise, it's not that big. 1865. All right, but it's a triplex, they're saying. All right, they don't tell us how much you're getting in rents. Let's look at the pictures. Okay, so it's really nice. I mean, it has a pool and everything. To me, guys, although it looks nice, how much more can you charge to have a pool, right? That amenity, and versus the cost needed to maintain that pool. Oh, and it has a putting green. I can almost guarantee you guys that this was an Airbnb of some sort that they're looking to get rid of. Let's look at the guts of this deal and see what's going on. Let's make sure, first of all, that it's a multifamily property. Don't want to analyze the crap out of it and then turn out to be that it's a single family home that got chopped. Okay. So the internet's deciding to take its sweet time today. Let's take a look. Here we go. It logged me out. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna have to figure out what just happened here, why I got logged out. But all right, we are gonna assume that this is truly a and guys, we do this live, so this is what kind of happens when you go live. We're gonna assume that this is a legit triplex. Okay. Let's see what the remarks say. All right. Exceptional income producing property in Fort Lauderdale, fully furnished, licensed for short-term rentals, and turnkey. Excuse me, guys. Property offers immediate income potential with consistent occupancy and flexible use options. So it was an Airbnb, like I mentioned, renovated in 2012. The property features impact windows and doors, updated electrical systems, central AC, yada, 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 yada. All right. They're saying that for the 1-1, they're getting $3,649 dollars per month in income. They're saying for the other 2-1, they're also getting $32.39, basically the same, almost the same. And for the other 1-1, which is smaller, they're getting $23.34. Okay, meaning that they're getting $9,200 a month in rents. Now, here's the problem, guys. Here's the problem. I guarantee that these are numbers based off of their highest occupancy months of the year. I don't think that this is even an average, okay, of their 1 year rentals for that particular 1-1, right? That they're saying that they're getting this money for. This is more than likely the highest month out of all the months that they've ever registered these 1-1s. Because let me tell you something, if they were actually collecting $92.22, they would not be selling this property for $949,000. If they were smart, they would just refinance, grab the money, right, and buy another investment property, because that's what I would do. All right. So, I mean, you never know. I was trying to look up more information about the property, see if there are like some kind of tax problems or whatever, but we can't see that. Now, I can tell you this, right? It's in Fort Lauderdale. In Broward County, right? The median rental price in a residential multifamily, right, for a 1-1 is $1,600, and the max, meaning this might pull the max. I mean, you know, that might be the case because it has the pool, has a little putting green, right? A lot of these max multifamilies, believe it or not, there's duplexes that are in front of the water, like they have ocean access. So these are kind of like those prices for 1-1s. But let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that his 1-1s rent out for $23.50. How would it change this, right? So $23.50 for this one, right? $23.50 for this one. And all of a sudden the deal starts totally changing, right? And then he's saying that for this tiny little one that's only 420 square feet, guys, it's basically the size of almost of a bedroom, right? He's getting $23.34. I don't care if it's next to the pool, man. You could get way nicer things for $2,000. You could live in downtown Miami almost in a condo for that amount of money. So I don't see them getting this kind of money. You could probably get in long-term rents. I would say maybe $17.50 for that small one. Maybe for the bigger ones, you could get close to that. But damn, it's a 1-bedroom. So I would say like maybe $2,100. Be hard pressed, and for that reason I don't see this really working out, because I don't know, right, like for a fact that these rents are not you're not able to get these rents unless there was supporting evidence on the listing. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to call BS on this one. I'm going to give this property a D. It's not an F, because dude, like it doesn't totally fail. It at least pays for the mortgage, like by like the skin of your like teeth or whatever you want to call it. But it's not the best. There's way better properties out there. So let's go ahead. Let's keep looking. For this reason, we're going to go ahead and discard this property for today. Okay, next up, it's a $649,000 duplex in Broward County. I like this more. They're currently paying $10,709 a year in property taxes. Square feet, 1776. I like that number. If you guys know, you know. All right, so let's look at the pictures. All right, not a fan of the cabinets, but it has stainless steel appliances. They put this little like table here because it's a spacious kitchen. There's an exit out here in the back. Okay, it looks okay. On the outside, it also looks okay. You know, not a fan of the color of the walls, but you know, it could use some renovation here. You could change the floors. So it's got space to upgrade. So if they're charging, let's say $2,000 a rent, you could probably make those changes and increase the rents a little bit. This door, dude, you just replace it with like a regular door because this looks like some kind of like jail door, bro. Like this looks horrible. Just go ahead and put like just a regular door from Home Depot, dude. Not, I mean, an exterior door, right? Not just like an interior door. But apart from that, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah. Okay, so tons of space back here. I like that. Tons of space here. That's really nice. All right, and they have space for separate laundry washer dryers. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a washer dryer for each one. Okay, not bad. Let's see what they want for it. All right, it's this one. The roof looks like crap. So you're gonna have to replace the roof here. So you should budget already like, you know, $15,000 to $20,000 for that. Okay. All right. So let's look at the guts of this deal, guys. So it's 221s, like I mentioned. Lucky number 888. Okay. Then they're saying that they're getting $2,000 a month in rent for this, which is more along the lines of what a 2-1 should get. Okay. Now, with that being said, guys, right? That's what they're currently getting. This is a terrible deal, right? It doesn't even pay for the mortgage, right? It would take you, if you put 25% down payment on this, it would take you 13 years before you start seeing some real money in your pocket. All right. So for that reason, this property, even though like I think it has potential just because of the quality and the thing that it has like upside where you could maybe rent it for a little bit more. Maybe you could rent these if you renovate them really nice for 2350, maybe 2250, somewhere in between there. Okay. At that point, the property is borderline on the 1% rule, but would be really difficult for you to get financing for this. Even a DSCR loan, it'd be difficult to get. So for that reason, we're going to go ahead. This property for me is another D, you know, in the terms of like an investment. So I would discard this. Okay, we're down to our second to last property, which takes us back to Miami-Dade County, $625,000 duplex. Okay, they're currently paying, let's see, very little in taxes. But remember, the guys, the lender's going to use these taxes to like base your mortgage off of, even though later on we all know taxes go up. So with that being said, it's 1856 square feet. Oops, here we go. 1856 square feet. All right. And do they tell us how much they're collecting in rents? They do. They say that they're collecting $23.50. Okay, a month in rent. Cool. And they said it's flood zone AH. If that's all the rent they're collecting, this is a terrible deal. So let's hope that the listing agent put something wrong here. Let's take a look at these pictures. Property doesn't look too bad. It's a duplex. Not a fan of the flat roofs, but I am a fan of the way that they renovated it. Simple, right? Nothing too fancy, just perfect for somebody coming in wanting that 2-1. Good picture. Nice kitchen. Yeah. Cool. Nice backyard. You know, you got space there to put a barbecue. And then the laundry, I'm guessing, might be shared. Okay, let's look at the guts of this deal, see what's going on. It's in Miami, like we mentioned. All right, recently remodeled duplex and red hot rental area. Investors take note. Recently remodeled duplex features 2 units, each with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, located in a super hot rental area. He mentions that again. This property, what does it say? Don't miss. Oh, wait. This property promises excellent returns. We'll see about that, bro. Modern updates throughout to ensure move-in ready experience for tenants. Don't miss this fantastic investment opportunity. 2 water meters and 2 electric meters. That's great. And then they say at the end, as is. So if it, if you find anything wrong, that's the way you take it. All right. So yeah, they say that there's a 2-1. It's 1,000 square feet, right? So like this guy has something wrong in his head because the living square footage is 1856, and he says that each one of them has 1,000 square feet. So he's off by about 100 square feet on each one. But he says that there is at least 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and he's getting $23.50 for it. So guys, what that means is that assuming that the other property, the other unit looks just like the first one, the one that they're renting for $23.50, that they could probably get another $23.50 for that second one, which would make this property rental revenue every single month be $4,700. At that point, guys, this property is like, I would say like a C minus, right? Look at your look at your returns, right? Your return on FHA is barely 10.3%. On 10%, down payment, you're making 11%. So you're making a little bit better than the S&P 500 could actually give you, but it's not like leaps and bounds, right? It's not leaps and bounds better. Okay, like it'll eventually get better than 11% as the years go on, but over the life of the loan, it'll be 11%. Now, if you hold the property until after you pay off the loan, obviously that just goes sky high. Because at that point it's just passive income. But that being said, guys, right, I would give this property probably a C. Okay, you're close. If you could decrease the price here, right? If you could decrease this price to, I don't know, 550. Whoops. Right, the property all of a sudden starts making a whole lot more sense. But you would need to decrease that price. So now you can have that conversation with the owner. He wants $625. Hey, mister, like $75,000 off, and we're talking business, right? A bank at that point, if you could prove that the leases do get to $23.50 on each side, would easily give you a DSCR loan, right? With no income verification, nothing like that. They would just want to make sure that the property could make the income, and you would need to put 25% down. And mind you guys, like if that works out, if you can negotiate this to 550, buy it now. And then after this thing with Iran is over, if interest rates go down, Grant Cardone was saying he thinks interest rates are going to go down to 4.5%. And if that happens, guys, dude, this property is all of a sudden looking like a rock star. Even with a 10% down payment loan, if you refinance at that point, you would be cash flowing on day one. If you use FHA to buy, and after a while you move out, you'd be cash, if you move out after a year, you'd be probably cash flowing after about 8 months. So it's not looking too bad. So with all these things being said, guys, I would give this property again, because you haven't negotiated, you haven't done anything like that. It has a potential of being a B property, but right now, just the way it sits without being negotiated, right? With the rents, if we haven't verified them, it's a C. So we'll go ahead, we'll keep this one, but we'll go on to our last property for the day and see what it has in store for us. And that is going to be another duplex in Miami-Dade. This one, they want more for it, but it's bigger. It's more square feet. So they want $795,000 for it. All right, they're currently paying $7,512. Sorry, guys, must be Sunday. They're paying $7,500 a year in taxes. All right, let's put the interest rate back where it currently it's at. Okay, square feet. All right, this one's got 2390, so it's a big one. Okay, and let's see if they tell us how much they're getting in rent. $2, they say. So I think that that's incorrect. Flood zone AE is not the best flood zone. Okay, but you're gonna pay a little bit more premium in your insurance there. Okay. So only one picture, which sucks. Picture looks like it was taken in the 90s. Okay. I mean, honestly, he took the picture of a picture online. Look at it. He took a picture. Dude, this guy's so lazy. This real estate agent is so lazy. This is crazy, man. This is probably the worst one I've seen in like this month. Yeah, like he wins the award for worst agent of the month. This guy's so lazy that he didn't bother to go ahead and just he went to Google Maps. Look at it. Map, right? He went to Google Maps and he didn't even bother to like snip the picture from his computer onto Google Maps. No. What he did is he took a picture with his phone of his screen of Google Maps. All right, guys, we're not here to bash realtors, but sometimes they make it too easy. All right, let's look at the guts of the deal, see if he included or he or she included more information. Well, they wrote everything in caps, which is nice. Excellent income, producing duplex in prime Miami location. The spacious property features a total of 6 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, offering great flexibility for investors or owner occupants. The property boasts probably approximately 3,200 square feet of living on a 5,500 square foot lot. Use GPS for accurate directions, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So he doesn't even bother to tell us like what the breakdown of the units are. All right. And that really sucks because I don't have my iMap today. I need a lot. Oh, there we go. Super. All right. So it worked out. At least he did put it correct. It's a multifamily property. Okay. It's got 2 units, guys. It's got 2 units. Let's see if we get a breakdown here of what it is. He lied. He said that it's 6 bedrooms. No, it's 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. Okay, it's 4 bedroom, 2 bath in total. So it's 2 1s, right? That's probably going to be the breakdown of this, unless it's a 3-1 and a 1-1. So it's probably 2 1s. And that might be a reason why I didn't put more pictures, because maybe they added some stuff illegally. Okay. But the way that it currently is, the way that the current property appraiser has it is 2 1s. So with that being said, guys, 2 1s in Miami-Dade County, the median price for those, like we saw before, are $2,300. So let's put that up on the board. Okay, $2,300. That means that the total rent that this property can produce is $4,600. Okay, and that the price they want is $800,000. It makes no sense. This property doesn't even pay for its own mortgage. This property is an F. It's out. But let's just give this guy the benefit of doubt. Because the property is pretty big. Okay, the property is pretty big. So what can we say? Well, he says that it has 6 bedrooms and 3 baths. So that could be enough for, let's say, the ideal breakdown, if that's how many there are on each one. It would be a 3-2, right? A 3-2 and maybe a 3-1, right? So if you have a 3-2 and a 3-1 in Miami-Dade, right? Let's come down here. A 3-2 rents for about $2,700. Sorry, a 3-1 rents for $2,700 and a 3-2 for $3,000. So let's change those numbers, see if it makes any change whatsoever. $2,700 and $3,000 here. Okay. If that's the case, guys, and that we're giving him the super benefit of the doubt with like the best possible mix of units here. It's just, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? They're at 100 and it would basically barely pay the mortgage, right? It would be difficult at 100. You would be able to get financing if you could prove these rents. If you could prove these rents to a lender, you could get financing, okay? But it's not going to be the best financing, right? It's not going to be the best financing. And mind you guys, like we would need to like prove these rents. So because this property, right, for me, if you could prove these rents, this property for me is it's a C minus, getting close to a D, right? Look at the return on your investment. Only the 10%. If you put 10% down, it's the only way that you could actually match or beat the S&P 500. And for that reason, like, yeah, this property for me is like almost like a D kind of property, to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go say pass on this property. And so for today, guys, if you guys stuck with us, we saw 1 property that might be close to making it, but we saw 3 that totally failed. That's 4 for 4 for today. Happy Easter, guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And hopefully the day after Easter Sunday, people put nicer properties with a little bit more common sense to their numbers and just better listings overall, to be honest. Jesus. But all right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you. Jesus. But all right, guys,